So now I'm going to do the last excerpt of Thomas Arst's essay from Jung's Red Book for Our Time, Searching for Soul Under Postmodern Conditions, which will be preparatory to going back to reading Aion. I've already read 4 chapters of Aion, but the next one is a very long chapter. It's quite complicated, and it may question a lot of people's ideas about Christianity. So I wanted to give this preparatory work first. Chapter 5 of Aion is entitled Christ, a Symbol for the Self. And I know when I read that, I was very confused by what Dr. Jung was trying to say with that chapter. That's why I'm going into this section of Dr. Arst's essay, called Imitatio Christi, Imitation of Christ. With the Red Book identifying the individuation process as the royal road to rediscovering soul and God, Jung reviews the traditional Christian teaching of Imitatio Christi. Simply being a devout Christian does not suffice anymore. Instead, a new form of spirituality requires searching for the inner Christ, who stands for the sacrifice and willingness needed to take one's own life into one's own hands while staying faithful to one's essence and one's love. As opposed to remaining in an infantile attitude of imitation, the individual is asked to find a place for Christ in his heart and then follow his independent path during a process of personal growth, living his own life just as Christ lived his. The new God laughs at imitation and discipleship. He needs no imitators and no pupils. In addition to the individual dimension, an eschatological one is of relevance as well when Jung writes, quote, "I believe you have completed your work, since the one who has given his life, his entire truth, all his love, his entire soul, has completed his work. The time has come when each must do his own work of redemption. Mankind has grown older, and a new month has begun." In Jung's later writings, such as Mysterium Conjunctionis and Aion, the symbol of Christ as a symbol of the self will play a significant role. The union of opposites. The theme of a unification of opposites is a central motif of the Red Book, and like the symbol of Christ, is further elaborated in Jung's later works. This theme deals with the recognition of the neglected and ignored aspects of the psyche, as well as with the consideration of the opposite as the missing half of wholeness. Quote, "You begin to have a presentiment of the whole when you embrace your opposite principle, since the whole belongs to both principles, which grow from one root." Unquote. The psychological formulation of the problem of opposites is regarded by Jung himself as a renewal. In the Red Book, numerous pairs of opposites are found: sense and nonsense, fullness and void, creation and destruction, love and hate, spirit and matter, insanity and sanity, above and below, order and chaos. Phases of psychic order are succeeded by phases of psychic chaos that divide any form of rationality or control, while still being the conditio sine qua non for the transformative mystery that is individuation. Quote, "We recognize that the world comprises reason and unreason. We also understood that our way needs not only reason, but also unreason. But one can be certain that the greater part of the world eludes our understanding. We must value the incomprehensible and unreason equally, although they are not necessarily equal in themselves. A part of the incomprehensible, however, is only presently incomprehensible and might already concur with reason tomorrow. But as long as one does not understand it, it remains unreasonable. Insofar as the incomprehensible accords with reason, one may try to think it with success, but insofar as it is unreasonable, one needs magical practices to open it up. If one has done one's best to steer the chariot, and one then notices that a greater other is actually steering it, then magical operation takes place. But the condition is that one totally accepts it and does not reject it, in order to transfer everything to the growth of the tree. The basic issue, writes Shamdasani, was how the problem of the opposites could be resolved through the production of the uniting or reconciling symbol. This forms one of the central themes of Liber Novus. Both poles of each pair of opposites, good and bad, spirit and matter, reason and unreason, etc., are to be acknowledged in life in order to gain a holistic worldview during the mysterious process of individuation. The world is a painting of opposites. Jung's perspective here, first and foremost, draws on Heraclitus and Nicholas Cusanus. Together with the principle of enantiodromia and the transcendent function, the concept of opposites and the unification of opposites represent the foundation of Jung's later elaborations in analytical psychology. So at this point, I will go back to my reading of Aion. The sections of Chapter 5 are going to take several videos, together with the sections of Chapter 5 in Dr. Edinger's commentary. Merry Christmas.